Hi, it's time for Super Kids. Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to do a little rhyming. So I'm going to put this up here and let's see if we can sound these out. Ready? N, a, t, net. What rhymes with net? That starts with a W. So you want to put a W instead of the N and go w and then a, t. Wet. Net, wet. If you put your hands on the side of your face, you can feel that it's the same. Say them with me again. Net, wet. You can feel that that's the same. Okay, let's do the next one. Pin. You want in the same. What starts with W that rhymes with pin? Did you say win? You're right. Pin, win. Good job. Ready? Fill. What starts with W? Did you say will? I bet you did. Especially will. Will figure that out really easily. So, fill and will, then big. Did you say wig? Perfect. Wig. Remember, wig is fake hair. Next one. Vent. Now put a W there. Went. And the last one. Tell. Well. Perfect. You did a great job. Okay, now I want you to get your dictation paper out and I will do some words for you. The first word is bag. B-A-G. Bag. You may pause the video if you need to, or let's go on to the next one. W-A-G. Wag. Again, wag. W-A-G. Wag. Next is tent. T-E-N-T. Tent. T-E-N-T. Tent. And the last word, W-E-N-T. Went. Went. W-E-N-T. Went. Did you notice that tent and went rhyme and bag and wag rhyme? How cool is that? Okay, now we are ready to read the story. We are going to do the vocabulary words first. Lily is going to take her friends to some pretend planets. That'll be so fun. Okay, I am going to move this down just a little bit so you can see better. And the first word is our new sight word, to. And then another sight word, for. Next one is of. So let's do those again. To, for, of. Let's go on to the next one. Sound it out with me. W-A-N-T. Went. It's like when you go someplace, but that's in the past. So I went to school yesterday. Went. Right down here. W-I-N-D. Wind. Remember, wind is the word for the letter W. Wind. And the air is going back and forth. Next. Off. Off. Notice how off looks really close to of. Of is a sight word, though, because the F makes the V sound, and you can't sound that out. So this is off, and this is of. Next. Swim. How many of you like to swim? I bet lots of you do. Drift. Drift is when something kind of floats on like water or air. So sometimes you'll see sticks or leaves floating in the water or in the air. Sometimes like a dandelion puff or some seeds or something will fly in the air and float. Next, I will hold that up a little bit. We're on to this word right here. Stilts. Stilts are really kind of cool. They're like a stick and they have a little platform near the bottom but not on the bottom. And you put your foot there and you hold on to the top. And then you put your other foot on the other one and then hold on the top too. And you can walk with those. It's a little bit tricky, but it's kind of fun. And the next one, w-a-g, wag, w-a-g, wag wags. So that's what Lily named her people that are on her planets. And the last one, p-o-a-n, plan, at, planet. Remember that has two parts. So planet. So those are the sight words. And the next thing I'm going to have you do is get out your book and you want to be on page 28. We are going to listen as the lady reads it and you want to read with her even though she says you don't have to. And she'll explain a little bit. And so I will play this for you and hopefully you'll be able to hear it pretty good. So make sure you're on page 28. You want to be pointing to the title up on the top. I am going to see if I can move this a little bit so that I can point to that. My light is making things weird. I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, so please point right, and you're right here, and I'm going to be right here. And then you'll hear this, the explanation in the background.
Lily and the Wagwags. Look at the top picture. Lily is the super noodle today. She and the other super kids are wearing silly costumes. They are pretending to be make-believe creatures called wagwags. They are pretending to visit make-believe planets or worlds. Listen as I read the top sentence.
Lily led the wagwags to the wet planet.
Lily used a hose and sprinkler to make the pretend planet. Water is spraying all over and making the ground very muddy. Listen to Sal say the words in his speech balloon.
The wet planet is a mess. Make sure
now
you're reading
look at
with.
the bottom picture. The wagwags do not look happy on the muddy, wet planet. Listen as I read the top sentence.
The wagwags slip in the mud.
The wagwags need to swim across a pool to get away from the wet planet. Listen to Tick and Lily say the words in their speech balloons.
Swim fast.
Let's get
off the wet planet.
Now look at the top picture on page 29. The wagwags are visiting the hot planet. Lily hung a red blanket over a clothesline to make the pretend planet. The wagwags are getting hot and sweaty as they crawl through it. Listen as I read the two sentences at the top.
The wagwags went to the hot planet. The wagwags went in a tent.
Listen to Lily say the words in her speech balloon.
It is hot.
Now look at the bottom picture. The wagwags look very hot and tired. Listen as I read the first sentence.
The wagwags will melt.
The wagwags are ready to leave the hot planet and cool off. Listen to Lily say the words in her speech balloon.
Blast off for the wind planet.
Now turn to page 30. Look at the top picture on page 30. Lily used a fan near a big shady tree to make the pretend planet. The fan is making it windy and blowing around dandelion seeds and bits from other plants. The wagwags are resting in the cool breeze. Listen as I read the two sentences.
The wind planet is not hot. Bits of fluff drift past.
Now look at the bottom picture. Lily and Edabetta are handing out cans of lemon pop to the thirsty wagwags. They are pretending the lemon pop is a drink from another planet called Planet Pop. Listen to Edabetta and Lily say the words in their speech balloons.
Let's rest.
Sip a
Glass of Planet Pop.
Listen as I read the bottom sentence.
But the wagwags must not stop.
Now look at the top picture on page 31. Lily and Iggy are on top of the bus. Lily is calling the roof of the bus the tip-top planet. Tip-top means the highest part of something. The wagwags are using tall poles called stilts to get to the tip-top planet. Listen as I read the two sentences.
The wagwags stand on stilts. The wagwags get to the tip-top planet.
Look at the bottom picture. Lily is ready for the wagwags to leave the tip-top planet to go visit another pretend planet. But Sal and Iggy think it's dangerous to hop off. Listen to Lily, Iggy, and Sal say the words in their speech balloons.
Let's get to the planet Wump. Hop off.
No,
Lily. I will not hop off.
Listen as I read the bottom sentence.
But Lily hops off to the planet Wump.
Now turn to page 32. Look at the picture on page 32. Lily used mattresses to make the planet Wump. She made a whump sound when she landed on the mattresses. It looks like a lot of fun. The rest of the wagwags are following her. Listen as I read the sentences at the top.
Wump. Lily lands on the planet Wump. It is soft. The wagwags hop and land. Wump, wump, wump.
Now listen to Lily say the words in her speech balloon.
It is fun to land on the planet Wump. Okay, doesn't that sound like fun to go on the planets with Lily? Okay, so now, kind of like how we usually read in groups, I'm going to go through this with you, and we're going to talk about each picture. And so I will let you just answer the questions, and we're going to read together. So let's start on the top. Everybody read with me. Lily and the wagwags. Let's read in the top one. Lily led the wagwags to the wet planet. The wet planet is a mess. So what do you think the wet planet is like? Next question. Do you think the wagwags like the wet planet? How can you tell? Let's read the bottom one. The wagwags slip in the mud. Swim fast. Let's get off the wet planet. So, when I read about the wet planet, I think to myself, is it real or is it a make-believe place? I can tell it is make-believe because children don't visit real planets. They would have to ride in a rocket. That would be too expensive. I also see that Lily has used a sprinkler and a small pool to make the pretend planet. Okay, let's look up here. Everybody read with me. The wagwags went to the hot planet. The wagwags went in a tent. Lily says, it is hot. What planet are they on now? What has Lily done to make the hot planet? What happens when the wagwags crawl through the tent? Let's go on to the bottom. The wagwags will melt. Blast off for the wind planet. What does blast off mean? What kinds of things blast off? Let's go to the next page. If you need to pause at any time to answer the question more fully and I don't give you enough time, make sure you pause and then start up again. Let's read right here. The wind planet is not hot. Bits of fluff drift past. So what is the wind planet like? Is the wind planet real? What does Lily use to make the planet windy? What do you think the bits of fluff are that are drifting in the air? Let's read on the bottom. Let's rest. Sip a glass of Planet Pop. But the wagwags must not stop. Do you think they like the wind planet? How can you tell? What is Planet Pop? Now let's look at the top of the next page and read with me. The wagwags stand on stilts. The wagwags get to the tip-top planet. Where do the wagwags go next? Why do you think this planet is called the tip-top planet? Where does Lily want to go next? Let's read on the bottom to find out. Let's get to the planet Wump. Hop off! No, Lily! I will not hop off. But Lily hops off to the planet Wump. How will the wigwags get to the planet Wump? Why don't Sal and Icky want to go to the planet Wump? Let's go on to the last page. Read with me. Wump. Lily lands on the planet Wump. It is soft. The wagwags hop and land. Wump, wump, wump. It is fun to land on the planet Wump. What is the planet Wump like? Why do you think this planet is called Planet Wump? What is Planet Wump really made of? Do the wagwags like the planet Wump? How do you know? Which planet would you like to visit? Why? If the Superkids played this game again, what changes might they make? Do you think Lily did a good job as a super noodle? Why or why not? This is a very fun story. I would like you to read it at least 2 more times at home so that you can get really good at reading it, okay? When we come back, we'll go on to the next page. Now, please do your handwriting this afternoon, and then you are good to go.